The DJ Ekin podcast. We are here, Brittany. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm glad of that, Brittany, because I am in a space this week. And thanks to everybody who's still rocking with us. Thanks to the audience that's growing just a tad bit organically. I like that.
Yes.
And shouts out to everybody who is behind the scenes helping us get this far, like people that are helping us with graphics, Jason, of course, and Radio Influence every single week, you, of course, and whoever designs the wigs that you decide to wear, that person.
Amazon.
Yeah, I just want to thank them as well. Of course, I am DJ Ekin, and the lovely Brittany Gonzalez is here. And Brittany, today, we've been meaning to get here for a while, and a couple of things I want to touch on today, because one of the things that we were directed on, and we are getting pointers every week on how we do our show and how we line it up. We don't want it to be overly structured, because then again, that wouldn't be us, because we kind of get in these places that I like,
Right.
we get in these places. But this week, one of the things I talked to you about last week is I really wanted to touch on voting with people like yourself. And by that, I mean age group. I don't mean anything else, because I know you will. And then we're also going to have a guest, because there's some things I want to talk about, too, with regard to Black Lives Matter, to protest, and things of that nature. So, and before we get there, Jason, I guess we can go ahead and try to get Kejuan on the line. But before we go there, Brittany, I want to congratulate you, because it was brought to my attention that your prediction last week about Tom Brady in his first game with the Buccaneers, that you were pretty damn close to predicting that the Bucs wouldn't do so well, that they would kind of get, I don't know if blown out was the words you used, but that the score would be pretty, that they wouldn't do well against the Saints. And so
I called it. I pretty much called it.
yeah, you did. Brittany, I literally got a text and a phone call that said, yo, I'm going to be so mad if Brittany was right with her prediction on the Bucs. And I had almost forgot about it. But let me just say, maybe our little segment of Brittany Knows, maybe that title needs to be a little different, because
It needs to be Brittany Knows Best.
well, I don't know about best, because maybe Brittany Knows is the right title, because I took it as a thing of saying Brittany Knows when thinking that you wouldn't know anything, honestly. I ain't gonna lie. And now it seems like you're popping up with some advice, and people are hitting me, which really upsets me, going, Brittany might have been right. I don't want to hear, I really don't, I want to hear, man, let me tell you something about Brittany's thoughts.
You can take the might have been out. Brittany, right.
You know what,
Yes.
Brittany? You know what, Brittany? In all fairness, I will take the might have been out. Brittany,
Thank you.
she wasn't exact. Let me put that out there. But you were much closer than I thought. I got to give you your props.
Thank you. I deserve all the props. I don't give myself enough props.
I thought you knew about uniforms and helmets and maybe Tom Brady's butt. But you actually said some things that actually, I was like, wow, like Brittany got some things right. Like I didn't expect the pick six. I didn't expect that you would be close to the score.
Yeah. And you know what? The next game, I do think they're going to do better, but I don't know. I don't have a full prediction on that one yet. Haven't caught a vibe. I like to go by vibes. And
oh, is that how you're doing this? Where does the vibe come from? Does it come from
my heart, my gut?
Can you show me? Or am I? I'm not. Like, where does your vibe come from? Does it come from like
it
the
comes
wig
from
area?
within. It comes from within.
Okay. Well, Brittany, I can't be mad. Look, you got there. How you do it, I can't even speak on it. I can't even speak on it crazy. Again, to stay in a positive light, let me just give you your props once again, Brittany.
Thank you.
No more about football than I thought. And you can think about this as you're thinking about your next prediction. They play the Carolina Panthers this week.
Ooh.
Carolina doesn't have Cam Newton anymore. Tom Brady in his second week of actually playing with the Bucs. I may or may not be getting a check for being at a parade this week with the Bucs.
Okay.
We're getting back to work. We're getting back to work.
Can I get on the boat?
Actually, I'm not going to be on the boat this week. Speaking of which, we're doing a parade. It's like a drive-through parade. And actually, we're not at the stadium. We're out going to be about by One Buck Place and out by the practice facility in that area up here in Tampa. So, and actually, we start at 7:00 in the morning, Brittany.
Okay, so it's going to be like obviously no crowd, right? There's not going to be people, or is it
driving? From what I understand, it's like a drive-through parade. Like people will be driving through. We'll be out there waving. I'll be playing music. I think a lot of the Bucs players are going to be out there. So it's like a drive-through type thing. We'll be giving away prizes to people's windows and stuff like that. But it's a 5-hour weekend from like 7 to 1. That's a lot of parade.
Who is parading for 5 hours?
Hey, look, Brittany, how we do it in Tampa? Sometimes I can't.
Bruh, you're gonna play at least every song 3 times. Like you were gonna have to re-loop the playlist because that's
quite a bit of music, Brittany. I got quite a bit of music, and you got to think there's quite a. And when you're doing something like the Bucks, that audience is so vast. So we can go from everything from Cardi B's WAP to Bruce Springsteen's to Bruce.
It's not a parade without WAP.
Yeah, no, it really is a parade without WAP because think about it. That divorce parade that they're about to have, Cardi and Offset, it's gonna be a parade without WAP.
Oh my God, I can't wait to see single Cardi. Who's next? Who's next?
My God. Jason, have we been able to get Kejuan on the line yet? Oh, okay. Oh, my bad. I thought we were already going there. My bad. I'm thinking. Brittany, just a little insight on Kejuan Joseph, and I'll let you.
Yeah, Kejuan. Tell me about Kejuan because you did, but I need to get like a more of a gist.
Yeah, he's actually a student out at the. Oh, there's Kejuan. Oh, see, you know what, Brittany? There it is, right there. Kejuan, how you doing, man?
Doing good. How are y'all?
Now, Kejuan, I've talked to you before, and we've texted, and we've done that, and we missed our first chance to get you on the pod. But this is Brittany Gonzalez. She's the other half of the DJ Ekin podcast. She wanted to meet you as well, so I want to introduce you guys before I get too deep into how I met Kejuan. Now, I want to give Kejuan a lot of the floor here, but before I do, I want to get into how I got to Kejuan. And shouts out to Will Calder, who's PD over at Power 95.3 in Orlando, and also Hot 101.5, who I work with here in Tampa. And, you know, Will and I talk a lot about what's going on with everything. And then, unfortunately, we've had some events happen in Wisconsin, and Will is actually from Wisconsin. And Will was like, yo, there's this guy up there that if you get a chance to talk to him, you maybe should reach out to him. And he sent me Kejuan's Instagram link, which happens to be the Golden Activist. So right then I was a little bit intrigued. So I went through your page. Activist, yeah. Kejuan, I ain't afraid to tell you. I went through your page. You know how people be going through your page, but they don't tell you. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you I went through your page. I said, okay, this brother right here, he out there for real. You know, ready to go. I see that. And so then I reached out to him, and we went back and forth a little bit and talked about getting him on the pod. So here he is. So Kejuan, a little bit about yourself, first of all, before we get into what's really going on out here, how we want to get into this. Let's talk a little bit about you. You are a student at the University of Wisconsin. Am I correct?
Yeah. I'm actually on campus right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay. And are you from Wisconsin originally?
Born and raised in Racine, Wisconsin.
Okay. And how far is that from the University of Wisconsin where you go?
UW Green Bay is about 3 hours away.
Okay. Now, I've done some radio in Milwaukee. How far is it from Milwaukee?
It's an hour and 40.
Okay, hour 40 from Milwaukee.
On a good day, because Milwaukee traffic ain't no joke.
Oh, well, there you go. And then we get into how far is this from the Kenosha, Wisconsin location where Jacob Blake was shot?
See, since I'm from Racine, I was actually back in Racine when Jacob Blake was originally shot.
Okay.
And if you live in Racine, you live in Kenosha, because Racine and Kenosha, they're right next to each other.
Oh, wow.
They're cities. So if you live in one city, whatever happens in one city happens to the other. So it's like there's no difference.
Got you. Okay. And again, like I said, we're bringing everybody up to where we are. So for those of you who don't know, Jacob Blake is the gentleman who was shot 7 times in the back while walking back to his car by police officers in Kenosha, Wisconsin. And what I really want to start with you, because we get a lot of the national news over here. Mm-hmm. What was this?
Wait, can you hear Ekin? He's
can
frozen to me.
Yeah.
Now you are.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You're better.
Okay. We get a national story on CNN, on headline news, but you guys are there locally on the ground. And like you said, that's pretty much the same city, kind of like here in Tampa. It's Tampa and Clearwater. It's kind of like right here. So what did you guys get when it first all jumped off? Like, why did it happen? What was, because, we got that Jacob Blake. I got everything. I heard everything from like, he was there to break up a fight. He was there on some domestic abuse. It was just so many things that I'm hearing. What did you guys get out there where you're at?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you, like, literally my whole experience from how I heard about it and everything. So I got a call. I got a call 1 hour after it happened from somebody that was apparently on the scene.
Okay.
And, no, not somebody that was on the scene, but someone that's there that had a video from somebody on the scene. I got the video, and immediately felt disgusted. I canceled all my plans, and I was like, I gotta go out protesting. Like that changed my entire day. And so I started getting more news because originally we were all out there protesting peacefully, and more cops started to come out and stuff. And as you know, things turned violent. But with a lot of people.
So were you when you got the news like of him actually getting shot that day, like that particular day, like when he got shot and you got that news? Were you already out protesting somewhere? Or were you home somewhere or something else?
I was I see around that time I was planning if I was going back to school or not, because COVID-19 ruined a lot of stuff for a lot of college students.
Right.
College is not the same anymore for a lot of us, and so that was a big thing on my mind then. So I was considering that. I was hanging out with my friends. We were discussing that, and then I got this call out of nowhere, and it was like, "Did you hear about what just happened in Kenosha?" I was like, "No." I was like, "What just happened?" Kenosha police just shot another black dude. Kenosha Police Department specifically just shot a black dude. Right. And I was like explain. So they sent me the video and everything. And an hour after that, I was already out there with my megaphone.
Wow. So what did you get though? And again, before we get to like you going out there and protesting, what did you get was the reason why he had gotten shot? Because every time a black guy gets shot, there's a reason of how we got there, supposedly. And then we wind up maybe getting a video that tells a different story. Like I remember in South Carolina, the officer wrote the report that the guy was doing something, and then the video comes out because he didn't see the guy across 100 yards away that was filming him shoot the guy running away in the back. There's all these different things that happen. What was the original story of why Jacob Blake would even have gotten shot anyway? What was that original story up there?
Well, the matter of fact, like everybody, how it seemed like to me, the only reason why they had let's just say they thought they had to shoot him was because he was going in his car, and they were thinking that he was getting a weapon, because automatically if a black person does anything suspiciously, we're getting a weapon when it comes to the police. And so my thinking about the reason why they shot him was because he was going to his car. Apparently they tased him and it didn't work.
Right.
And they had all those police officers. Why not stop him before he gets to the car? I mean, like that doesn't make any sense. Like the whole process of them getting to him, trying to stop him, and then shooting him it makes no sense to me. Like you went from all these levels, and then you chose the most extreme level, and then not only that, you shoot him 7 times. Times. And then I've seen in different angles of the video. The officer looked I don't know if it was his Jacob Blake's girlfriend or anything. I heard the lady that he looked at in the face while he was shooting him was his girlfriend. I'm not sure, so I can't confirm or deny that. But pretty sure from what I heard that it was his fiance or something that he was staring at while he was shooting him. Now, if that's true, that's even worse, because now there's even more intentions to the shooting. You know, like you could have stopped. You didn't have to shoot him 7 times. Now this man is paralyzed.
Right. And Jacob Blake's, from what I understand too, his kids were in the car, right?
Yes.
Right. Now, can we back up just a second? And again, this may be something that you may or may not know about. What was Jacob Blake actually at that location for? Like, what is that? There's so many stories about that he was there. He was actually there to break up something else that was going on.
Yeah. The official stories, as far as I know personally, that hasn't changed for me. And I think it's the most accurate was he was there to break up a fight. I haven't heard any. I've heard so many other, but that's the one I hear the most, and that's the one I hear is most consistently the truth.
Right. That he was breaking up a fight that was essentially somebody else.
Yeah, and then he got pissed off at the police because why? Excuse my language. I don't know.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
No, you're good.
Okay, because I don't know why the fuck the police like he was thinking why the fuck is the police coming at me? And when y'all y'all not here for me. Y'all here for them. I was doing your job.
Right.
Helping you out, and then you're gonna come and try to arrest me? No, I'm in my car and I'm leaving. What y'all mean? Y'all joking. I know my rights.
Right.
Like that I understand. Because if I was him and thinking yo, my kids are in the car and you're trying to arrest me when I'm trying to help you,
Right.
And like a lot of people don't understand, like me growing up in the area, like Kenosha Police Department is one of the worst police departments in Wisconsin.
Wow.
It's one of the most racist. I um um like it's crazy because my Racine Police Department, I have to say, I have to shout them out. What they do is my hometown police department is one of the best. Like the crime rates are lower, everything. Like the interaction with the people of color, the black communities in which I like I grew up in, like the relationship to them is great. Now you look at Kenosha, like every interaction that I've had with the Kenosha Police Department has been freaking terrible.
Wow.
Now, question, because you say the police department from where you're originally from, that they have a good, rapport with the community.
Mm-hmm.
Is it diverse? Is the police force diverse there? Is that, and the Kenosha Police Department, are they diverse at all?
The Kenosha Police Department is not diverse at all. In fact, I like their chief. Their county, their sheriff. He's obviously racist. He's so obviously racist. It's so like I don't know. It's so out there. Like the way that he describes how, like I seen the video the other day of how he was describing that, like how are you supposed to treat these peoples or whatever, how he described it. Like there is just so much that led to this, and it started because like the whole culture in their police department is racist in itself, or it's like it's culturally like insensitive.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So wow, we're in a space right here. So you obviously, from like I said, and from my conversation with you before we even got here, so you kind of, from what I'm hearing about that Kenosha Police Department, it's something that you're not surprised that it finally got to that point where that happened.
No.
Now, had you been you have been out doing protesting too before this incident got to where it was you guys. Mel, how did Mel get in? Mel, it's good to see you, man. I got to remove you out of this one, though.
Mel is hilarious.
He was on last week. That's my barber. Sorry. Shout out to Mel, my barber, man. So you were out protesting because of other things that had been going on around the country. I guess it was a pretty strong a lot of protesting going on because of what had happened with George Floyd too. And you guys aren't far from Minneapolis either, are you?
No, nah, So like so Wisconsin, I love Wisconsin. It's a great state, but when I think like no, it's true that when I say that like the race issues here are terrible. Like I love my hometown. I've probably already. I think y'all can already see it. Like
no, I respect that.
Racine is a city that has so much potential. It's like if like the change that we have on us wasn't there in that city. Like if everyone were had the same levels of opportunities and career growth and all that, the opportunities that would be in that city would be insane. It would be the jewel of the Midwest. Like that's how I see that city. Like but the race problem, the segregation that goes on in Wisconsin, it's crazy. Like,
what do you mean by segregation?
So in my hometown, how it is that you live in certain area of the city. Mm-hmm. If you're black, person of color, that's just how it is. All the businesses are towards the edge, so you have to drive 15 minutes to get to Walmart.
Okay.
You have to drive, or if you live downtown town, like in the center of the hub where all the PLCs live, you probably have to drive 30. And most of the non-PLCs live on the outsides or towards suburbs.
I see.
And he means people of color, Brittany.
Yeah, no, I know that one.
Yeah, people of color.
No, I got it. No, we got it. I always try to make these things clear for the people who are rocking with us and listening to us as well, because again, you're making very valid points. Let's talk about you and your the being involved in the protest and that sort of thing. George Floyd seemed to, there had been other incidents going on, but you being 19, you wouldn't Unless you, I mean, I'm sure you've probably read about it, the Rodney King thing that happened years and years and years ago. So to me,
Eric Gardner, all of them, yeah,
right, not a lot to me has really changed. It's just a lot more stuff is being filmed. But the George Floyd thing seemed to set the country on fire in a whole new place, right? I know you were out there when all of that was going on. So and not even expecting that suddenly your hometown or a place right next to your hometown will become another fire spot in this whole thing. What has been the mindset of people in your age group, whether they look like you, not look like you, et cetera, with regard to all that's been going on with George Floyd and and with the protests?
So what the crazy thing is that me going out there leading these protests, going out there being part of them, like I have friends that weren't voting, weren't involved in politics, weren't doing any of this stuff before George Floyd. George Floyd set the country and the youth on a whole different path now. Because I have friends that because them going to my protests and being coming and supporting me, they're now leading their own in their hometowns and where they come from. Like it's starting to set more and more younger people are taking charge of this movement.
Right.
Up in Green Bay, me and my friends, we came after George Floyd. We were all so pissed about what happened. I nearly punched a hole in my wall once I seen that George Floyd video.
Wow.
I was so upset because I felt like that could be my little brothers. I have two little brothers who are insanely bright, and but that could be them. That could be me. That could be anybody. Just walking down the street. If I were walking down the street at night, that could be me. I could be doing nothing.
Right.
I wanted to ask you about the protest because, by the way, I am literally so much respect and I commend you. You're leading protests. You're out there doing what a lot of us, can't do as far as you're in that it's very volatile. It's very, you're in danger with these protests. Where y'all at in these big cities, over here, it's not so much like that. So just to say that, appreciate all of you who are part of that and taking, you guys are the first responders there, in a sense, you're taking those hits. But I want to ask you because it's always on the media and I know that it's not always, the protests become violent or there's malintentions with any of it. I believe that the Black Lives Matter movement is about being peaceful and about, confronting the racism, the injustice, and not allowing it to any longer continue. But you being on the ground, what is it like with your fellow protesters? What's the morale like? Are y'all kind of feeling, how are y'all feeling about it on the grounds with it?
So when everything first started, I have to say, and I believe that speaking of, I actually want to touch on the riots, for example, because being on the front lines, I saw the riots begin and end. I was there for hours. I was there since literally how the protests turned to riots was because it started and it always starts when the first tear gas canister is thrown. I am telling you, you go to a protest and you watch it turn into a riot, you will see that 10 out of 10 circumstances are reasons why a riot is caused or properties damaged after a protest is because they're not even protesting anymore once the property.
The police.
Yeah. Okay. Once the tear gas is thrown, you're already angry. They know you're angry. They know we're angry. They know all we need is one thing to tear us over the edge. We've been dying for this change forever. So the matter of fact that they know this, that they know that it takes just that single tear gas canister and a couple rubber bullets at us to set us on fire. They're going to do that so they can change the narrative.
Yeah. So it's agitation on purpose.
That's all it was in Kenosha. I'm telling you, on Saturday night, how it started, tear gas canister. Monday, I got a tear gas canister thrown at my foot. I was tear gas twice that day and shot with a rubber bullet.
Oh my God.
Wow.
So I'm telling you, I saw that a garbage truck blow up, and that's when everything started. That tear gas canister caused everything. If they didn't throw it, if they didn't feel threatened by us peacefully protesting, executing our constitutional right, the riots never would have happened. But of course, they have to use their military grade weaponry, their tear gas, their rubber bullets to make themselves feel more at ease. But what about that property that was destroyed? What about Kyle Rittenhouse that they yet walk past us and kill those protesters on Tuesday? Like
Right.
a lot of things that happened in Kenosha happened because of KPD.
There's two things I want to touch on here, and I think we're kind of in this space where this is where we kind of have to go. There's one instance, and again, I'm with Brittany. Like, I commend you, and I commend this next generation of leaders and creatives that are out there, like, because I feel like you feel. I feel like every person out there, even though they may not know the right things to say or always the right things to do, I feel like first and foremost, they're fighting for my rights, because most of these stories you hear, they start out being for a black man. You know, of course, there's been stories like Breonna Taylor and other stories, but a lot of these stories, they begin with us, right? So the first question I want to ask you is, we hear a lot of stories about folks that are not a part of the peaceful protests. We've seen videos of people being out there in blackface. We've seen videos of people that are just going places to cause destruction. Mm-hmm. Have you in your protesting out there, have you run into any of those people? Have you seen those people in action, like out on the ground with you guys, causing trouble to stir up things?
That's inevitable. Like protesting when so I feel like my job when I'm out there is like to make things peaceful. It's to keep things as peaceful as possible. When there's a situation, I want to diffuse it. That's my megaphone is for. I wish I had it. Like my megaphone is like, I don't need it. My voice is loud enough without it. But like my megaphone is the key. I want to use that to make sure that things go smoothly, that there's no problems, that those people that cause the issues, what you want to do is like, let them talk, because they're gonna talk otherwise, and you can't kick them out. Right. But as long as they're not degrading the message that we're fighting for black lives, we're fighting for Jacob Blake, we're fighting for George Floyd, we're fighting for Breonna Taylor. We want to see those officers arrested. We want to see change. But as long as they're not contributing that message with this like bullshit, because at this point, anything that's beside that message when you're out there is bullshit.
Yeah,
right. Because that officer that shot Jacob Blake 7 times still got a job. And so the big focus is just making sure we keep focused on the issues that matter while we're out there, and not letting the attention be dragged somewhere else.
Right. Okay, and that those are very good points, because a lot of times it seems, and Brittany, you and I have talked about this too, where the message gets lost in the chaos, and all of a sudden we forget what we were actually out here for, and I can appreciate and respect that part. Now, the second part of my question is, and I talked to you about this, and I think you told me that you weren't actually out there when this part took place, but a bigger situation. Not so much, I would say, a bigger situation than what happened to Jacob Blake, but another big situation developed in the protests that were going on out in Kenosha, where 17-year-old Kyle Rittenhouse drove 15 miles from Illinois to come out there. And we've gotten all different kinds of stories on this too. Like, he was out there to help keep the violence down, to keep the protests peaceful.
With a gun.
This dude traveled with a couple of illegal guns at 17 years of age, and then he winds up killing. Was it one or two? He killed a couple of protesters.
He killed 2 people. He injured another.
He shot someone's arm off.
Yes.
Shot an arm off.
Yes. Like the arm is like what was left of the arm is, bro. It was like I wasn't out there, but that's because of the day before. I had tear gas twice. I got tear gas twice. Like, I needed to stay inside. Everybody was telling me to stay inside and come back out tomorrow.
Right.
So I stayed inside. I didn't come out that day. I instantly regretted it, because I was like, but at the same time, there's not much you can do in a situation like that.
Right.
Because I felt like if I was out there, like what could I have done to keep it peaceful? Maybe I could have directed the people somewhere else. Like, if I was out there, I would have I don't know, but the matter of fact that happened, the cops, the cops were literally right there. They could have stopped it. They had so many opportunities to stop. What happened? Mm-hmm. But instead of them stopping Kyle, they let him walk past. They gave him water. And then when he was walking away after he did what he did, they let him walk past them. Like, he literally walked past them. Now, if that was me,
right? If that was you,
I would have got gunned down. Like, I wouldn't got gunned down. Worse would have happened to me.
Right. I mean, you're just looking at Jacob Blake alone. Jacob Blake dies with no weapon, even though they're trying to say he had a knife in the car. He got shot in the back 7 times. Meanwhile, you got a kid holding a rifle that just shot and killed other people, and he walks right past the cops. And the part about this story that always gets me,
at its finest. White at its finest.
Right. What always gets me about these stories too is when you add in the fact of they gave him water. Hey, bro, you thirsty too? And then he went home. And you know, I had someone try to argue me this point of like, well, Ekin, he did get arrested. Bro, he went home. And then he got arrested by, like, without incident. It wasn't no problem. Go get him. After he went home. We're talking about Jacob Blake just got shot 7 times in the back. And you don't even have, first of all, facts that he got a weapon on him. George Floyd died with a knee on his neck. He ain't got no weapon. And this started over $20. This kid killed 2 people. Like you just said, shot someone's arm, which is completely, that person is handicapped for life now. You know, and we let him go by. And we offer him water. You know, it's so many things like in this part, and I want to like shift a little bit with you and Brittany first. Not first. I would say where I wanted to go, and I talked to Brittany about this. You are Kejuan. What are you? You're not a millennial. What are you? Right? What are you?
Gen Z.
Gen Z, and Brittany, you are
millennial.
Okay, then you two are the perfect people that I want to talk about this next point with. Because where all of this is leading us to, being in a pandemic, the Black Lives Matter thing that's going on, the economic thing that we're going through, we have a president in office right now that seems to do nothing but, hey, it's a fire over there. I got some gas. Let me keep throwing that on the fire, right?
Yep.
And the election is coming up. And to me, and again, this is me. I'm not trying to inject my beliefs on the two of you. I want to get both of your thoughts on this, being the generation that you are. I have felt for a while that we constantly find ourselves trying to vote for the lesser of 2 evils. I don't feel super strongly that Joe Biden, first of all, is going to beat Donald Trump. Second of all, I'm not even sure that Joe Biden is the right guy for us. Again, I'm not trying to steer anyone's thoughts here. But with that being said, leading into this, and either one of you can take the floor, because what I've heard is that you guys are not really sure that you believe in any of these candidates that we have. And you guys can give me your thoughts on, and again, this is what, you hear different polls, you hear this and that and the other, but having you two here is important to me. What are you guys' thoughts on the upcoming election, as opposed to making things better for the world that we're giving you and where we've been? And whoever wants to go first, I'm stepping back. I've given my question out there.
You want to go or you want me?
No, I want you to go.
Okay. Sure. I actually am a field organizer. I work for the general election, so it's kind of my job to actually talk about politics. So I try not to do it when I'm not working, but
right,
like making 300 phone calls a day and talking. Like to
so you're heavily involved. I'm
telling you, like I'm in the only way to beat the system is if you're in the system. So, I'm telling you. Like I knew from a young age, like I wanted to help people. So I started at 16, my first election, and then I've been working on campaigns ever since. So when I tell you, I work for the Democratic Party. Oh, I don't work for them. I'm always in filtration, helping out or whatever. I just got off was working for the Minnesota DFL, but me personally, a lot of my friends and everyone my age, big Bernie fans. If you're Gen Z, you're a Bernie fan.
Wow.
Because like the policies and everything, they're relevant to us. Cause like the student loan debt, everything that's relevant to me. like and so many other millions of Americans. Like the matter of fact, like Bernie for a lot of my generation was a candidate that we were praying for this year. Bernie or someone new. But of course, like Joe Biden came, and again, we're choosing lesser two evils for the majority. Like that's the mindset. It's like a lot of us, like, we're not voting for Trump, but so do we vote at all? And so when I'm out there trying to convince people to vote, it's like it's lesser of two evils right now. We have Trump. Do you want to live with that for another 4 years, or do you want to like move on to something else?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's true. I feel like it is. It's always at the lesser of two evils, because up until now, I even feel that any candidate for the presidential office has never truly cared about people and the community and what really affects us and our paychecks and, you know, whether we work or not. Like, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? They're getting paid to write bills. They're getting, you know, these checks under the table. Like, all of that is happening. And that's why it is the lesser of two evils. There is not one good person right now that really, you know, actually cares and will do well for the people because they care about it, right? So, yeah, Joe Biden is the lesser of those two evils. With Trump, there's so much hate that is, like, it's not just that it's out there and it's more visible now, but I feel like he encourages it, and, like, it brings the worst out of people. And with Trump in office, I just see more terrible things happening than with Joe Biden in office. You know, at least he's got Kamala Harris there.
Kamala Harris changes the entire situation for me.
Yeah.
Like, he changed everything. Now, I was going to vote for Biden because there is no way I'm voting for anyone else.
Right.
I feel like it's my duty to vote this year because the only option, like, to me, I'm failing my country if I don't vote this year. Mm-hmm. And so, like with this election, is like, well, we can't select this election.
Right. We lost him. We got to get him back. We got to get him back.
And we can't vote for Kanye. We're not doing that. We're not writing in Kanye.
We had a technical issue. We're hoping to get Kejuan back on the show. Brittany, we might have to. You know, we keep talking about we got people that we want to keep bringing back to the show. I think Kejuan is
one of them. For sure, he's over there on the ground. Like, we need to know. And I'm interested also to hear, you know, the morale of the protesters. What's going on in their mind right now? You know, when they're all together, how do they keep the you know, what is it? What's the word where you, like, not the passion, because I know that the anger is there and that's a part of the passion.
Right.
But, you know, how do they keep each other a supportive system to continue it?
Oh, there he is. We had lost.
No, yeah. Sorry, connection issues.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I know your train of thought. You were talking about, Kamala Harris changing it for a lot of hosts, because I have to play devil's advocate. So again, I still got you two. You know, again, this whole question, this segment right here is about you two, and it's. I really want to hear your thoughts. So I'm just getting these questions out there that have been on my mind or that I've heard or seen on Twitter. You know, these places on social media. Do you feel somewhat offended though, or do you even feel that Joe Biden just felt like, because think about it, Joe Biden came out one time and he you know, sometimes people say things and they mean a different thing, but they don't deliver it the right way. That's what I think was so dope about President Obama, because the way he spoke just kind of kept us all in this positive, you know, I'm not sure if everything he did was right, but I will forever love that he always made us feel like we had a chance. Mm-hmm. Okay. So we know a few months back or a few weeks back, Joe Biden comes out and says, "You're not really black if you don't vote for me." A lot of people took offense to that. And then, or something to that effect. I may be quoting it a word off or whatever. Let me be clear with that. But it was something to that effect. Now he reaches out and he gets a black woman to be vice president. Do you feel, though, that he just did that to say, like, now I got the black vote locked in? Or is Joe Biden really working on more stuff for us than Donald Trump? Because I've got some African-American friends who say when you really look at it, though, and you really get past the surface of Trump being, for lack of a better term, an asshole, he has done some stuff for us. I'm not saying I know everything about that, but I'm just giving you some of the conversations I've had, some of the things I've seen on Twitter. And again, I'm liking what I'm getting from hearing what your generation is thinking, because the country's yours. You know, the country's yours. You know, we can say we want to. The country's yours. You're our next set of leaders, what you guys are doing and people like you. What are your thoughts on that? Like, when he picked the black woman, come on, you had to, for a second, go, he's just picking us to get our vote. Even you, Brittany, as a woman, had to say, man, he just trying to get us to secure that vote, and he ain't really, he ain't really about us.
Like when it comes to being a Democrat and being black, like for a majority of the people, like for example, I have to go back to my hometown for a sec. How it operates as a field organizer, like your job is to organize hundreds of thousands of people. I know like what it's like for a lot of these campaigners to go out there and organize specific section of communities and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like the biggest issue is that there's usually no full-time organizers in racial areas, so there's no communication. And so right around the same time of year when you should be getting so much information about like policy that you should develop, how you could help black people, you're not getting that information because you're not interacting with them on a day-to-day basis like you're doing with these other for sure voting communities that they call it. Because like a big issue that I have to say with the Democratic Party is that I still feel like only one time a year or a period time of the year that as Democrats you got to work on is making sure you're talking to people all year and making sure that you're doing stuff to making sure like to gain the vote, not just to get it and keep it and to make sure we're voting for you, because that's one thing. Like that means nothing to us. Like you getting it elected, you getting in office means nothing. Us getting the change that we want means everything. Mm-hmm. And us living in the same system and keep hearing you saying the same thing doesn't help it. Doesn't make us want to vote more. It doesn't want to do anything. It doesn't change the situation. And so Kamala Harris, like she's great. She's a lawyer. She's fine. She's passionate. She's exactly what technically, I wouldn't be opposed to her being in reverse. Or being in reverse, actually, okay. I prefer that. But the matter of fact that that she is, I think so. I think that they want to make her the leader of the party eventually. Mm-hmm. I think it's a little bit of that. I think it's also again securing the black vote, like you said.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a strategy, right?
It's a strategy choice. It's definitely, I'm telling you, it's a strategy choice. They Joe Biden's we got to make way for the new. And Kamala Harris is she's a moderate progressive, what I would call her. She's a moderate progressive. With to go some issues she's progressive on, some issues she's moderate. But for the vast majority, a moderate progressive would work for her, if that even exists. Mm-hmm. But the matter of fact that still, we all know, we could see through it. Like she's black. And like we need as many votes out there this year as it is. So of course you got to make her vice president.
Right. Do you think that you guys' generation sees through a lot of things that the generations before you just kind of either didn't see through or let go? Do you think your generation is kind of putting a stop to that? Like, yo, you got to really do something for us to make us be like we all in with you. Like you just can't be fluffing us to death. You got to really do something, and that's what it seems like to me. Is that really how you guys and your peers are kind of taking this thing?
I don't think we take bullshit anymore. Like after Parkland, after all those school shootings, they traumatized a lot of my generation. I feel like a lot of my generation I don't feel like the atmosphere in schools and everything after like all those school shootings were different. Like
Parkland. Can you refresh me on Parkland because I don't.
Well, Parkland happened down here in Florida. It was Valentine's Day. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. Yeah. And it may be it's got to be top 3, one of the biggest mass shootings. A kid who didn't even go to the school anymore went back up there and he killed
he killed 18 people.
Yeah, it was a gang, and it's down by Fort Lauderdale. Parkland's down by Fort Lauderdale. The kid had a history of both his parents were gone. His dad was gone. His mom died a few years ago. They left him some money, but he was adopted by a family. And he went to school on Valentine's Day and he really caught a lot of freshmen and sophomores because he was in this one particular building for a while. And also a whole nother thing about him is he walked out. Like he mingled in with the kids and he walked out. And when they caught him, he had been to 7-Eleven and some other place and a cop happened to see his description and rode right by him. It was like, oh, that's the kid right there when they caught him. But it's definitely top 3, one of the biggest mass shootings, and it happened down. And then we had the kids who they became like a symbol of this whole thing.
This movement. I have to say the reason I brought that up because like that movement got me involved in activism.
Mm-hmm.
Because after Parkland, I was, man, like Parkland really, really, really pissed off a lot of like me and my friends, because like now we're like, shoot, like for random school, like we already know all these other school, like you know, I forgot where it was, but there was that elementary school, Sandy Hook.
Yeah, Sandy Hook. Yes.
Sandy Hook. Yeah, Sandy Hook. Where I remember if they could shoot up elementary school, of course they could shoot up in high school, but like you never really dawn into it until you keep seeing it in the news. And then Parkland happened, and then that's when things started to get real. Because
Right.
like,
and Parkland actually happened on February 14, 2018. Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, which is pretty much down by Fort Lauderdale area. He killed 17 and injured 17. And it was done. He was 19. He was a former student. And it is one of the biggest and, like he said, the worst, high mass school shootings that has ever happened. Can I get your thoughts on this too? Being black. Is there a difference in thinking when it comes to, these school shootings when because a lot of times, being in different communities and a lot of these shooters, well, I pretty much think all of them almost have been
white,
young white guys, white, not even white girls, white guys, kids that have done these. Is there a different conversation that you have with your black friends in school as opposed to some of your white friends when it comes to your thoughts about like these things like school shootings or, these type of things?
See, like back when everyone's yeah. So especially when that was happening, because we were always thinking that like, hey, it's funny, like not funny in act.
I get it. I understand.
Sense,
right.
But like, it's funny that we're always seen as like the violent race or as aggressors or threateners or somebody you should be scared of. when 9 out of 10 the school shooter that's going to walk into my school or on my campus is not even going to be my race.
Right.
So like he's going to be the literal race. Like it's going to probably be white. He's probably going to be privileged, middle class, and that's fine. That's them. But like the matter of fact that like me and my friends were like, we look at it and we're like, it's not us that's doing this. It's not us that's doing it. But the matter of fact that you still feel threatened by the littlest thing by us, for example, going to our car or whatever, instead of being like taking action and using it like to create like such stuff like that. Instead, you're gonna fear us.
Right. Yeah. It's a lot to unpack, man.
Yeah.
I first of all want to say, and Brittany and I were talking about this when you got cut off for a second, that I definitely am going to keep in touch with you. I want to keep in touch because I want to be able to have you be a friend of the pod because I want to bring you back on various occasions. What do we do now? What do we do now? Like, guys, what do we do now? Because I personally, and I'm like you in a lot of ways, I felt like this kind of made me feel a bit different. Like the George Floyd thing, and I've seen a lot of these things. And I'm kind of, like I tell Brittany a lot of times, I'm kind of in this thing a lot of different ways. For one, I work for the NFL. I'm DJ for the Tampa Bay Bucks. So the Colin Kaepernick thing hit me. But I'm also a veteran. And I understood what Colin Kaepernick was doing. And I never for once felt like he was doing it to offend me or doing it to cross me or make me feel slighted in any kind of way. And even more so than that, I'm a black man. So I definitely feel it on all levels, right? But I've also talked to Brittany and we've discussed this. Black Lives Matter. Hashtag is running crazy. Everybody's hashtagging. Mm-hmm. These companies are suddenly hashtagging. People are throwing money at things. But do you two, have you seen any real change other than more awareness, of course? Or do you think that there's going to be any real change? And it's a twofold question because on top of that, what can we do or what can be done to bring more change?
Do you want to go first?
I want you to go because I feel like you have definitely more insight. You're on the ground over there. You.
All right. So I think there's 3 things.
Okay.
3 things. Vote. Period.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care who you vote for. That's not my. That's not the job. That's not your job to care. It's just for you to get educated and vote for somebody. This election is important. Two, we must continue pressuring our legislator, and that means protesting. The bigger the protest gets, the more people that are out there, I am telling you, the more noise. The more noise that we can keep getting on the subjects, and like we cannot let the fire stop.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Because after I remember watching from the sidelines, because I was younger, when Eric Gardner and all them and all after all those things and all those protests would happen, things would get silent. Mm-hmm. People stop talking about it. Like, we cannot stop the conversation. Once we let the media and all them like move on, think that okay, finally we can move on from this, that's when we lost.
Exactly. And you touched on a point, because I wanted to ask you too, like, do the protests really matter? Do they really have an effect? Because I believe they do, but I wanted your perspective on why they do, you know? And just like you said, like, if we're still talking about it, it's still relevant. Because the moment that we stop talking about it, it's like, okay, what's the next? What's going on with, Cardi B and Offset? And then you just kind of get lost in that, and then you just forget about, like, well, holy shit, we still haven't, done any changes.
We actually have, so we have these protests. We have all this negativity. The first thing is to block it out. We can't allow ourselves to block it out. But, like, to answer your question, like, from my experience, that protesting does two things. It acknowledges that a group of many individuals want change in the subject, and that forces legislators to listen, because civil disobedience doesn't happen for no reason. Two, it brings people, like a lot of people that I've met over the past couple months, of all wide ranges of races, ethnicity, colors, all that felt so disgusted that they wanted to come out and learn. So protesting, a big thing about protesting, especially Black Lives Matter protesting, and protests that, like, me and a lot of my fellow activists and lead are protest, like they're educated, like you get insight into a lot of things that you would never have gotten. We talk about things that, like, our situations, and we give people the opportunity to speak about their situations you would never hear about. You give a whole new perspective and opinions by going out and protesting.
Right.
And people don't understand, like that is the key part. That is the key reason why you protest, but give people perspective, because you don't have perspective before you come out. You don't have the understanding. You're just hearing all this bullshit in the news. Until you get out there yourself, or until you get out there and listen and you hear, then you can cut out all the bullshit and get straight to the point that you want change. And now you're seeing why you want change. You don't just want change now. You see, and you have a reason why, because you heard from people that may not look like you, but are going through the things that you want to change. Yes, you may be white, but hey, I'm out there fighting for my brothers. Like that's the mindset for these people. And that's what, like, the brotherhood, the commitment, the like that you get with it, and that you see when you're out there doing that. Like, you feel like change is inevitable. Which is like you can't stop it. You can't slow down. Because if you got people this passionate about this, then, like, you can only imagine it's going to happen. Now, if these people were to run for office and do this type of stuff, change would happen immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know this. I think as long as you're involved in the next generation of creatives and leaders like you and like Brittany, I think that we're on our way to change, and I appreciate and respect that. One more question before I let you get out of here. I don't know if I should bring this up here, but there's another candidate that just keeps popping up here and there.
Oh my God.
And I just want to know, do any of your peers take Kanye West? Do any of your peers take Kanye seriously at all?
I got a couple of friends that I ain't gonna lie, they're voting for him as a joke, because, like, they don't like Joe Biden or Trump, to be honest. But they think his whole action is a joke. I've tried convincing them, but they were big Bernie fans, and some Bernie fans are very, very only Bernie fans, and so and I respect that.
Right.
But I think that that whole campaign is he's wasting his money as a person that's involved. Yeah, he doesn't have campaign offices or anything. Like,
right.
it's not running a campaign.
Do you think it's even disrespectful though, in a sense that he's almost like mocking? Because I've heard, in the one sense that he's mocking the whole process. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes, and I come from a generation too where sometimes, even though it seems like mocking, some of these things need to be disrupted. You know what I'm saying? And Kanye has, and I was around for the Kanye stuff in the beginning. So Kanye's always kind of been a disruptor. And Kanye has the one quality I know about Kanye that I will forever say that I appreciate is, if nobody else believes in Kanye, Kanye has believed in Kanye. No matter how crazy,
Kanye believes in himself.
Right. No matter how crazy it may sound when he's delivering it, because he had to, because no one believed that he could rap. He fought to get to be a producer. He fought to be a designer. But so in a sense, he's a disruptor of sorts. But do you guys think, like, in a sense, he's also making a mockery of this whole thing, and that's maybe the disservice he's doing because he may be taking eyes off of what really the issue should be?
I think so, for sure. Because, like this whole election is one of the most, like we say this about every election. 2016, the most important election of all time. Now, actually, it has never looked more serious when we say that, than this year. So I think with COVID-19, like this COVID-19, whether like people believe it's serious or not, which you automatically should. Like, I've had friends and people that it affects everyone, because I have friends who have died from COVID. And COVID is no joke. COVID is no joke. And so, even when you're out there protesting, like it's should always be on your mind that like to me, because I have family that's at risk and everything. Like, my mom is beyond sick. Shout out to my mom.
Shouts out to mom.
Shout out to mom. But my mom is beyond sick. And she is like was my inspiration. I can't bring this virus to my mom. Like, already, like if I get it, I have to stay away from half my family because they're immunocompromised.
Wow.
So it's like to me, and then like me myself, I'm anemic. So if I get it, I'm on a ventilator. So like this virus is no joke. So me coming into this election, I'm like, that's on my mind. Like, whoever wins must do something about that virus. Like, this COVID-19 has disrupted this country, and so and it should never been disrupted like that. We're America.
Right.
Yeah. We are America, dude.
We're America. What are we? We're the best. What are we? The best country or the worst? Come on now. Like
right now.
Right now is debatable which one we are, but at the same time, kind of the time is terrible.
Time is terrible. Yeah.
If he would have announced when like everyone else announced, I would have respected. I would have even I would have even given his campaign a chance because of name recognition.
Right.
But because he announced it on Twitter. He should. I feel like press conference. Be legit about this whole thing. Like, you're running for president, especially now. Be legit about the whole thing, and don't have to it. But
I don't think he really knows what he's even talking about when it comes to all this political stuff and really making some real change. And there's just too many things that Kanye is not educated enough on to take this role, and me to take him seriously in this role. Can't do it.
I think once you were president, but I couldn't see Trump neither. So
I think Kanye thinks if you good on Twitter, then you qualify for president, because that's where Trump stays.
Trump has got that example though.
Yeah, and that's what Kanye is. I just don't think I'm ready for another first lady that the world has seen naked. I just don't think I'm ready for that right now.
I didn't even think about
Kim's doing more than Kanye though. Kim's releasing. Look,
I don't think
going to law school.
I don't think I'm ready. Kim was gonna go to law school and finish in 6 weeks. Come on now with the Kim going to law school. Okay, I don't think I'm ready for that family to be the first family. Even though they're kind of the first family now of whatever, I don't think I'm ready for them to be the first family. Okay, I'm not ready for Kylie to be up in the White House taking selfies. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to
be an embarrassment to this country.
Yeah, I'm not ready.
But like their family. But like right now, we need something stable.
Yeah, and I'm not,
for 4 years or as close to it.
Right. I'm not ready for Travis Scott to be filming McDonald's commercials up in the White House talking about get the Cactus Jack. I'm just not ready for I'm just not ready for that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
mean, I
Again,
love Travis Scott music and all, but
they'll show us too
it's
much.
whole different when you're in the White House and everything. Then I gotta criticize you for like when, cause like, you gotta understand, like when they get in there, their whole lives like Kanye, good luck making music, bro.
Yeah.
like everything changes. So like, hey, you can't be focusing on yourself in that job. Like you
Yeah.
have to be. That's the reason why Trump has failed so horribly. He's incredibly selfish.
Mhm.
Incredibly selfish. So that's why he failed. To be president, like at least to me, like you have to be selfless in some way.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to be able to manage a whole lot of egos and not have and try not to have one yourself.
He can't even manage his own ego though. So that's
And
a
so
whole
Trump,
that's a
Kanye can't. I don't. Joe Biden has a history of being able to manage both sides. He has a history of neglecting black people too. I am not going to hide that. I know that. I know he has done stuff that like automatically that should make me not want to vote for him.
right. Well, it's a lot to think
But I
about, man.
think, do you think that, real quick, just a short answer
Go
on
ahead.
this one? Because I'm like, with Joe Biden, because you brought up a great point. He has, dropped the ball when it comes to the black community. I think, and even just, people of color who aren't white, those communities. But I feel like everyone has room for growth, and there are some people who take that room for growth. Do you think that he's actually, though, like, yes, he didn't do those things, but now he's realizing, like, oh, shit, I got to change. I got to do better, and I want to do better. Like, do you see that in him at least?
I do. Cause like when he came to Kenosha, what I really liked, when he sat down and he was talking to people, he had a notebook and a pen.
Okay.
He took notes. Like to me, if you're actually coming to listen to people, you better be taking notes, especially like if not taking notes, actually listening. Like when Trump came to Kenosha, which I found very disrespectful because he was there to divide and not to like unite, and he was really expecting riots to go on that day.
Wow.
But like we gave him no campaign fuel. We gave him none of that. So I feel I'm very proud that day. Nothing happened that day because that would have been terrible.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad the cops were not as bad that day because like we needed one thing to happen. That would have been that would have set a whole other fire. I'm just telling you. But thank God that didn't happen. But when Joe Biden came, there was a whole different atmosphere.
Wow. Yo, I appreciate you, man, for coming to our little podcast. And again, I already told you, you and I are going to keep on touch because I think one of the things I want to work on with you guys, even in a bigger scale, even bigger than the pod, and believe me, I want the pod to be huge, is I'd like to create maybe in the future like a round table of people like yourself that we can, maybe some things we can work on together, you know what I'm saying, to make change. Because I think, like you said, we got to be the change we want to see. And I think that you guys, Brittany, you already know how highly I think of you. And Kejuan, now that we have become friends and are fastly becoming even better friends, you made it to the pod. There's just more that I want to talk to you about because I feel like even though, I'm a little older, like I can learn some things from you guys. And I feel like if you're gonna rock out there, you got to be out there with people who rocking out there. And I think that's the mistake. That's the mistake that I think people like Trump, they make. There's a lot of things that were done back in the day, but there's a lot of things that are being done right today. And I think that we need to sit down and listen to both sides because I think you guys are very much open to listen. Like I said, that's a lot of like Brittany and my relationship with her. Like as it's grown, it's not because she lets me talk all the time, and it definitely ain't because I'm gonna listen to her because that ain't. But we grow because there's a very open dialogue and it's an honest dialogue, and I think that if we're gonna fix things in this country, in the world, race relations and everything else, then we got to be willing to not only have the hard conversations but also listen to different point of views, which you pointed out earlier, man. So I appreciate you being here. Where can they find you at on Instagram and social media?
If you want to go to the protests, any of my protests, they are all on Facebook. I have 2 coming up. I don't know if anybody's willing. If any of you have any Wisconsin viewers or anything.
We getting there. We getting there.
If you're in Wisconsin, definitely be looking because I am. I am coordinating. I'm thinking about launching a whole series a statewide protest. And so right now where I have two coming up, one in Green Bay and next weekend, and a whole nother one in 2 weeks in Kenosha.
But also too, when you're out, to do me a favor too. Like I said, let's keep in touch. And if you have a chance to and that type of thing, definitely send me some pictures because I want to know what's going on there. I want to post about it because these things matter, dude. And even though I might not be able to be there or Brittany can't be there on the ground, I definitely want to keep sharing your story and being involved in it. Because like I said, I think there's some work to be done that we can do together. On Instagram, you are. What is it on Instagram again?
The Golden Activist.
The Golden Activist. A lot going on right there, man.
Kejuan Goldsmith. So I was like I had a friend that come up, wait, you know what your nickname should be? The Golden One. So I dropped the one, became the Activist.
Oh, okay. Well, and I appreciate that. What school do you go to again?
UW Green Bay.
Okay. And we will talk again soon, man. I appreciate everybody rocking with us here at the DJ Ekin podcast. Kejuan Goldsmith, dude, please, let's keep in touch. This is one of those conversations that I think that Brittany and I we learn from, as well as we gain a new friend and somebody that I very much want to keep being in touch with. Brittany, where can they find you at on social media as always?
I'm at Brunch with Brittany on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter.
Yeah, and the purple.
Oh, you doing TikTok vlogs too?
You on TikTok too?
Oh well, I'm trying to get on there more, but so I'm on my way for that. I got to get more up there. But
is it the Golden Activist over there too, or what is it?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be the Golden Activist on there too.
You should do that. Yes.
Brittany's been trying to get me on TikTok, man. I live through her vicariously.
I go through my friends. I'm always on my friends' TikTok, so I only have one TikTok on my current one, but I'm going to delete that one because I got that when TikTok first came out, so I didn't know. Okay. Like my professional side.
Oh, we gotta go see that one before he deletes it.
I know, right? everybody rocking with us, man. I am DJ Ekin. New episode drops every Friday at 3 a.m. and on the East Coast. And shouts out to Radio Influence. And again, I appreciate you taking the time, and I appreciate this healthy and conversation that we definitely both learned something. And again, I appreciate the both of you because, like me, I think that you guys are planning to be the change that we want to see, man. And I appreciate and respect that, man. The DJ Ekin podcast. We are gone, man.